Well, here we go again, folks. Back to the old Scion. Yep, this is becoming a little too familiar of a situation, ain't it? Eh. Alright, yep, we're back again with the trusty old Scion. Yep, there's more work to be done on this thing. Why? Because this thing loses antifreeze in some mysterious sort of way. It doesn't pool up underneath. There's no steam jets coming from anywhere that would imply a leakage like in the rad or in a hose or anything. It just disappears. You drive around, and after a while, the temperature gauge starts jumping up, and eventually when you check it, you find out you lost antifreeze. Research and troubleshooting have pointed out to the water pump being the culprit here. Not so much because the thing is just squirting out from a weep hole or anything, but because of the location of the water pump down in there, the pulley will sometimes mask the shot of water coming out of the cooling jacket where it passes through the water pump and into the engine block. In the best case, it'll squirt out enough to where the belt will fling it onto the top of the hood where you'll see it. Worst case is it only shoots out enough while the engine is hot and running at speed that the water long evaporates well before it has a chance of pooling up underneath or in any location. So, from what I also researched, apparently people change water pumps a little more often on these engines than normal, so yeah, whatever. That's neither here or there. The thing is, we got to get to this stupid thing, because this being a transverse engine, it's tucked away on the side. So, from what I'm looking at here, our alternator's got to come out. Obviously, we got to drain the system. The serpentine belt's got to come out, and the pulley has to come off of the water pump in order to be able to even get to the bolts. So, first thing we're going to do is drain the system, which is nothing more than just opening up the rad and letting it pee on out. And we'll pull the alternator out, which is like a couple of 14 millimeter bolts. There's like one right there, and there's like another one somewhere underneath the belt there that's kind of obscured. And of course, we got to get all the wiring off and everything. And, well, first we got to get the belt off before we can really get the alternator off. So let's look at that real quick. Your radiator should have a little drain valve on the driver's side at the bottom that would allow you to remove the thing and let the water pee on out. Yeah. Of course, once you pull the drain plug out, it's going to do that right there. With our antifreeze drained, the next thing is going to be to get the serpentine belt off. And to do that, there is a tensioner that you'll have to put some tension on in order to pull the belt off. And the hex head on that tensioner should be 19 millimeter or 3/4 inch for you standard folks. But have a short socket on the end of this breaker bar here. And in addition to the breaker bar, have to use a cheater bar to get that leverage necessary to be able to get that tension, because there's like a spring-loaded piston-like thingy that puts tension on this belt, so you will have to fight against that. Let me get this belt off. Now, I took the wheel off on here in order to be able to get another vantage point when it comes to approaching this thing, and that especially applies to getting the belt off. You'll want to be able to get at this thing at all angles. So with that, we're going to hit the alternator next. Alright, looking at the alternator, as I stated before, we have, it looks like a 14 millimeter bolt about right there. And we have a couple 10 millimeters, one for this wire harness bracket, our main battery cable right here, and we also have our plug right here that has to come out. Now, of course, don't forget to unplug your battery unless you want fireworks. Now, another thing we got to address too is taking off the thermostat housing, because whatever bolt is at the bottom of this thing is pretty much inaccessible for all intents and purposes. And that there requires some more 10mm wrenching. So got our thermostat housing right there, 10 mil on the top and on the bottom, along with our hose right there, our clamp on the hose, whether you have a worm clamp or the springy clamp. The hose has to come off if you want to get your thermostat housing off. So let me get that done. All right, got our alternator off. The other little bolt in question was like a 12mm bolt that, even though I could have gotten it from the outside after I moved some of this wiring out of the way, it's still kind of useful to have the thermostat tube out of the way. As you can clearly see, we have plenty of room right there around that side of the water pump. Now here's something else interesting. Let me see if I could duplicate it enough to where you could hear it. That little water pump makes noise, and it has a little bit of some free play to it where it can kind of spin. Now this new water pump does not have that free play. It would make sense that the seal on the pump shaft would keep it from just free turning like that, even with the pulley on there. And of course, that little noise you heard would also imply that something is worn, metal on metal, who knows. Either way, that's pretty much a good sign that pump is crap. So now the next move is going to be to get the pulley off. Now that looks like, let me see if this is a 10mm before I could, nope, not a 10mm, probably an 11 or a 12mm on those 4 bolts. But the fun part is going to be trying to hold that garbage in place in order to get those bolts off. Let's see what we can work out on here. Stand by. All right, the screwy way I came up with to remove, or at least loosen, these bolts was by taking a big ass screwdriver, wedging it in such a way between 2 of the bolt heads, while going ahead and using my wrench. This is just for demonstration purposes. See if I can wedge that right there. But while wedging the screwdriver between 2 bolts, using my wrench to break the other bolt right here free. Instead of taking it all the way out, I just rotated it and did the same thing with each bolt, even wedging the screwdriver against the already broken free bolts until all 4 bolts were loosened up. Focus, you stupid camera. But once all 4 bolts are loose, we are now free to remove this garbage. Now I know there's tools that are made specifically for this, like little pulley wrenches or something that's nothing more than a strap or chain or something that wraps around it. I don't have that, so I had to improvise. So with that all said and done, I can go ahead and get this pulley off so we can go ahead and move forward with removing our water pump. So with that, let's go ahead and finish this up real quick. Shouldn't take too long. It's only 4 bolts. 1 more right there. All right, with that out of the way, now we can look at our water pump, which we'll look at our new one for reference. There's only, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 bolts. I don't know about this area right here. We'll see. Let me look at it real quick. All right, we basically have 6 fasteners holding our water pump on, 4 bolts and 2 nuts, and that little wire trough that was on the side for the wire harness. Now, we got our water pump pretty much free. Probably gonna have to tap this stupid thing to knock it out, so give me a quick second. All right, knock that thing free. Let's see if I can work this piece of crap out of here. What the hell is in my way? Hold on, let's see. We're getting it. We're getting it. Come on, you bastard. Oh, Lordy. Come on now. Come on, you stubborn prick, you. There we go. And I got this piece of crap out. Here we go. Our little water pump is free as a bird. Be free. All right. Now, with the water pump clear, we can go ahead and clean all our surfaces up and prep our new unit for installation. So let me go ahead and get this all scuffed up, cleaned up, whatever. I'll be back. All right. With our gasket all gooped up on both sides, went ahead and put our water pump back in. So now, with it fitted onto the block, I can go ahead and start putting all our fasteners back on, including that little wire trough thingy there. That was part of the fastener lineup. So let me go ahead and put all this garbage back together on the water pump itself. All right. We got our water pump bolted all the way down, so now we can go ahead and put our pulley back on and start doing all this crap in reverse. I used the same method to put the bolts back on as I did when I took them off. I wedged the screwdriver between two other bolts while I put enough tension to tighten down the target bolt. So now, with this back on, I could go ahead and get our alternator and our thermostat housing back on, and eventually we'll finally get our serpentine belt back on. Stand by. All right, our alternator is back in, so that now leaves the thermostat housing and our serpentine belt. All right, we got everything put back together all the way down to the serpentine belt. Now, as you can see, it's kind of dark outside, but we're done. But I'm not going to start this thing yet. As is always the case when I put any kind of gasket maker stuff on any kind of gasket or anything that will be under pressure, heat, whatever, I like letting stuff sit overnight so all that garbage can cure. That way I can at least be remotely confident that that stuff is going to hold like it's supposed to. So I'm going to let this stuff sit overnight, and I will get back to you in the morning. So this will be a long standby. As soon as we started the car up, the antifreeze that I put in the radiator started bubbling back up through the funnel, which would definitely be a good sign of making some serious pressure as far as pushing water around. So that's a good sign. But I'm gonna have to let this thing warm up and see how she acts after I cap it off. See if we can be sealed. Stand by. As we could see, I've been running for about a good hour, just idling here, and the temperature's been holding steady at the middle range right there, as you can see. The only other test I have to do is really turn this thing off, let it sit, and come back sometime later this evening and pop the rad cap and see if we lost any coolant. And that'll be a good sign if this whole project worked out, because if our radiator coolant is low, then we still have a problem somewhere. So again, stand by. All right, it's been about an hour or so, long enough for this thing to cool down enough to remove the cap. It didn't really lose much of anything. I poured some coolant back in here just to get an idea of how much would have been lost based on how high or how much it took before I got to a point where I could see it in here, and there really wasn't much at all. So, I mean, that's a really good sign. Might be a high probability that we fix this problem. There's a little bit inside the bottle as well, but all in all, so far things are looking good. Now, whether I fix the problem or not sure. The only way to find that out would be to drive the car like normal and see what kind of reaction we get throughout the day. And then we'll know for certain if the problem is fixed or not. So whether we fix the problem or not, that's what it takes to do a water pump job. So if you have to do a water pump job, be ready for what you saw. So until the next time, as usual, like, subscribe, notifications, TikTok, website, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you later. It's dreary out here. It rained, and it's a little cool. So I'm out. Catch you later.